everybody. Happy May 12th, 2020. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on today's show, we have a former Naugy Greyhound and incoming freshman at UNH. His name, the bully ball himself, Malachi Gatison. Malachi, thanks so much for being able to come on today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, first off, before we even talk about your career at Naugatuck, it's a pleasure that, A, you're healthy, and B, you're not injured anymore, because I felt like every time I saw Naugy play or I broadcast a game, you were injured, Tisha Bamba was injured, Mezzo was hurt, everyone was walking injured.
Yeah. It was a tough season. Injury bug hit us early, coming from the summer, and then going into the season, it just progressively got worse.
Mm-hmm.
We're just a hardworking team, and then sometimes hard work just without time to rest, technically, just your body cancels out on you.
But, you know, you look at the hard work of what you, the senior class, and everyone was able to do, you know, while you were with Coach Salazzo. Just take me into what was your first impression when you met Coach Salazzo, but also tell me about kind of what was the practices like the first couple days.
Yeah, so I came from school in New Haven first, before I came to Naugatuck. When I came to Naugatuck, the coach ended up quitting, and then I was like, or resigning. I don't know what happened with that situation with Coach Bruno, and then Coach Salazzo came in and they hired someone because Mr. Mariano wanted us to trust him in his path of finding a new coach. And when he came in, I already knew. Right from seeing him, I already knew he was the real deal. That I was going to get a real college experience with him. And that's what he said when he came in. He wanted us to feel like we were at college.
Mm-hmm.
So instantly into that summer, I wanted to prove myself, you know what I mean? Especially since there was a lot of older kids in front of me, because it was technically my sophomore year when I met him. And I earned a starting position on defense and a rotational spot at running back.
Really? Okay. So
yeah.
Were you someone that you kind of knew, like, okay, I may have a starting spot here, or was it like I had to really grind and battle to get that?
I would say, like, I knew I had a starting position, but I guess other kids not. I don't know. It's because with Naugy, I know, and probably a lot of other football teams, is that there's certain people you know going into the next season that's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that new kid comes from a different place or a different town or anything like that, and they come here or come to a different team, like, they don't expect him to play automatically. But it didn't happen out that way because I pushed hard, and I made it hard for them not to put me on the field. You know what I mean?
And that's the whole thing, because just like what you stated, it was hard. I made sure that it was hard for them to not put me on the field. And for a player, that's really all you can do, because if you show your worth on the field, then why would the coaches want to take you out? Because you're helping them trying to win.
Exactly. And then plus I was, since like 5th grade, I've been in Naugatuck and I played baseball with a lot of the kids there. Mm-hmm. So like I already knew everyone. And then plus some of the coaches, like I guess friends, I guess you could say, or like other people that know around Naugatuck knew I was already an athlete. So
was there one position that Salazzo helped you with a lot? Was it the running back position, linebacker position? What was it?
I believe it was more running back, and like him like giving me that trust factor into like letting me go out and actually perform at my level, because he really gave me a lot of trust, and like, we're getting you the ball this game. We trust you. Keep the ball in your hands. Make sure like this is the team's ball. You know what I mean? Make sure you show up, because Naugy, we're a tough team. So like when out of nowhere, when I make that explosive run, or like it doesn't even matter if it's like 5 yards, but as long as I show I'm dragging people or anything like that, like it boosts up the rest of the team. The offensive lineman starts playing better. The defense starts playing better. It's more excitement on the field.
And the few times that you fumbled, either in practice or a game, what was it like going back to seeing Salazzo's face? I'm sure it was not it wasn't good.
It'd be just regular drills. You drop the ball, it's over for you.
Really?
And a lot of what do you call it? Up downs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what killed us, especially for defense. I think that's why our defense was so good. Is just one mistake, we're already doing up downs. Someone not running to the ball. Oh my god, that we're up downs for like just 2 minutes, like just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And it created a lot of like strength within the defense as well, and like trusting each other too, and knowing that we'll get our jobs done, because it's our butt when we get back to practice.
You know, tell me about, and I'm glad that you mentioned the defense, because that was the one thing that even, your senior year with all the injuries, and I know Naugatuck lost their last 5 after winning their first 5. They played hard no matter what. Wherever the ball
Yeah,
was, there was at least 3 or 4, Naugy players going right after the football. And that seemed like something that Salazzo preached, where it was go wherever the ball is, 100% effort, and if you're not going to give effort, sit your butt on the bench.
exactly. We ran a lot of pursuit drills and different things like that. And like I was saying about up downs and stuff like that, no one wants to do up downs, especially summertime or even when it's cold. Hitting the turf is different.
Mm-hmm.
it's I don't know how to explain it. It's just like you don't want to upset him. It's not even like a scare factor. It's more respect. You know what I mean? And respecting each other. He taught a lot about like team and everything like that, and what it means to like be there for your brother, what it means to be there for your teammate, what it means to be a teammate. You know what I mean? That was a lot of it that came into it, and most of it had to do with respect for each other and respecting each other's talent and not trying to overstep, but try to at the same time make sure you go out for the play. He always talked about not trying to be Superman. You don't need to go and make every play, but you need to show up and do your job every time.
Now, was Salazzo the kind of guy, because I'm sure you guys know about, his college coaching career, where he's worked with a lot of guys who have made it to the NFL. Was that something that you guys kind of knew right off the bat, or was that something that you guys were able to figure out over time?
Oh, yeah. So once we figured out his name, we all looked him up. We tried to figure as much out as we can about him. He told us exactly what his career path and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And from then, all of us try to prove ourselves to him, make sure that we're on the field so they can set us up to be able to achieve our dreams for those that wanted us to like perform in college or go on to the NFL or anything like that. They just tried our best.
It almost sounds like he was the Godfather. We lift him up. We wanted to make sure we didn't disappoint him. It's like, I like it though. I mean, he's a very respectful guy. He loves the game of football. The one thing I noticed right off the bat, first game seeing him coach, you can't question the passion, because he is loud. And again, I don't want to allude back to the losing again, but still, that kind of told me a lot about him as a coach, because it's one thing when you're winning games and you're screaming, but when you're losing and you're still coaching, that to me tells me that he is all in no matter what.
Exactly. Going into the last 5 games and being injured and watching on the sideline, might be the hardest thing I ever had to do in my career. Mm-hmm. Like, even like being a little bit hurt, but being able to play a couple plays, it still makes a difference, especially when you're a leader and being able to step on the field and just showing that you're trying to push hard for everyone else. But when you're on the sideline trying to help the coaches coach and trying to help players like figure out what they got to do, especially if they like for our defense, like we had a lot of like new starters or people switching positions just to play different positions. Mm-hmm. And it made it hard for us, but we worked hard, and sometimes our defense played good, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes our offense did what they had to do, sometimes it didn't. And the times it didn't, it fell short in the last 5 games.
How was it playing alongside Tishabamba? Because I compared... I know that, and that's why I'm asking it, because I know the relationship that you guys had. I also know that he kind of... And I never like to compare high school athletes to NFL guys, but just comparing what he was like as a high school player was kind of like Aaron Donald with the Rams.
Exactly. So we go back into the story when we first became best friends. We became best friends in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. He came to Naugatuck when I came to Naugatuck, but he came from Africa, so it was a different situation for him. And he was a shy kid. Didn't want to do anything like that.
Shy kid, Tishabamba?
Yup, shy kid.
Really?
Didn't talk to nobody. Wow. A lot of different things like that, but becoming friends with him and making him open up, get out of his shell, and made him sign up for football. He didn't even know he was playing football freshman year. I signed him up myself. And then introduced him to different like old NFL pros like Ndamukong Suh, Alan Page, a lot of different old defensive tackles that he could try to imitate, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And from that, and plus like just me knowing like his heart, like I knew he was gonna be able to push through, especially since he was like on the bigger side of a kid. He didn't want to be, he wanted to actually get fit, especially for high school. So he showed up, and then like going into sophomore year, he wanted, especially with coach coming, he knew he had a chance to actually like play, and eventually he got a rotational spot the sophomore year, anything like that. And then going into junior year, he was starting, and it was clear because it was a lot of, like, I guess you could say disruption when it came to, like, trying to get him on the field and stuff like that, because he had the passion for it, but his play was still a little bit not there, you know what I mean?
He was raw.
Yeah, exactly. And then once it came down to it, because his size and everything like that, he was able to dominate. And then now he got his technique down with Coach, and Coach really took him under his wing and stuff like that, and he embraced the process, like Coach always says, embrace the process, and he became a star.
You know, scariest players are the ones that, A, have never played, and 2, have the talent but don't understand or realize that they have it. And
Exactly.
it may have been like a perfect situation because with Salazzo, knowing defense and seeing the kind of body and kind of work ethic that he has, he could mold him into anything. And the proof is in the pudding. Look what he did.
Exactly.
You know?
That's the same way when it came with me. He took us both under his wing, if I think about it. Going into sophomore year, I was able to earn being a leader of the team. I was already a captain my sophomore year, and I was surprised, to be honest. But at the same time, not, because I really tried my best going into summer workouts and everything like that, showing that I was the guy that they needed. And plus, like, same like him, I didn't start playing football until I was in 7th grade. I played with the junior Woodland Hawks, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you played with the team that they didn't like. Oh, boy.
Exactly.
Jeez,
yeah, so it was different going back to Naugatuck and then talking to old teammates and stuff like that. Like, I'm going to play for Naugatuck. They're like, oh, man.
Why didn't you come play for... Just real quick, I don't mean to cut you off. Imagine if you played on that Woodland team between Palmieri, Krifka, all the...
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
That would have been the Earth, Wind, and Fire of the Giants way back when.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't even know about Palmieri. I started figuring him out, I think it was junior year, when I started hearing he was actually making a lot of plays. I didn't even know about him at all.
Really?
I knew more about, like, Alec Tobo, and a couple other kids, like, I think his name's Zach. And I don't know, and a lot of offensive linemen. I knew a lot of the linemen, defensive linemen, and linebackers. When it came to, like, and the quarterback, I knew the quarterback as well.
Oh, Belinsky, yeah.
Yeah, Belinsky. But when it came to, like, Palmieri, he came literally out the shadows. Like, I didn't even know anything about him. I was like, who is this kid? So I had to go do a little research, try to figure out who he is. But, yeah, so we weren't playing them, so I didn't have to really worry about anything. But
you know what? You know, thinking about, and I'm glad that you mentioned about, you know, guys who kind of just came out of nowhere and popped. You know, real quick before we get off, and again, thank you for being able to come on. I really do appreciate it. Ethan Garcia.
Yeah.
I called him the muscle hamster, not because he's small, but because he's like I swear, he's like a bowling ball. You just give him the rock, and it's like, boom, boom, boom. They're just popping off.
Yeah. When it came, like, in practice, yeah, he always, like, him and Aaron Smith, they always made sure they stayed around me and, like, try to soak up as much knowledge as they could. And same thing with, like, trying to ask questions and trying to be there, trying to work hard. Like, after literally every practice, Aaron Smith would be running hills after practice. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then the same thing with Ethan. He's always asking questions, being very curious about how can he improve his game. And it showed on the field. When they got on the field, they worked really hard. Might be the Aaron Smith, hardest worker I've ever seen from a younger kid. Younger teammate, actually being able to trust him and knowing going into the next season, he's going to be a captain. And then with Ethan, when it comes to him, like, he's a knucklehead. And you can see on the field because he's relentless. He's not going down unless
100% agree with you on that one.
Exactly. So I kind of like that about him. But like we always make jokes on the sideline because he's tiny. You don't really expect that from somebody that's like a little shorter. On the shorter side, you don't really expect anything like that, but no one could tackle him, so.
You know, it's that Naugy pride. You guys are very prideful, but you're also hardworking at the same time. And, you know, Malachi, I really do appreciate you being able to come on. You know, you're welcome to come on anytime, either before or during the season, after the season. The door is, is always open for you to come on if you want to.
That'd be awesome.
That'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.